My girlfriend said, "You still have to take care of me." I replied, "Sure, whatever you need." Then I ordered her pizza, told the driver to charge her directly, ignored her panic calls, answered once, and just waited as one late-night delivery exposed what she really wanted from me. This is AF Tales. Today's story follows a breakup where she said, "And we're breaking up, but you still have to take care of me like before." As you listen, think about the moment where you would have stopped saying yes. When Chloe FaceTimed me that night, she looked straight at me and said, "Mark, this isn't working. I think we need to see other people." She said it in that careful voice people use when they want credit for being honest, even when they have already checked out. I did not argue. I did not ask who else was involved. I did not try to save it. I just said, "Yeah, I know, it's okay." She froze for a second. That was not the reaction she expected. Then she shifted quickly and said, "But we can still be friends, right? You'll still be there for me. You're the only one who really gets me." I smiled a little and said, "Sure, Chloe, whatever you need." She smiled back like everything was settled, then ended the call. I sat there for a minute staring at the blank screen, waiting to feel crushed. Instead, I felt something closer to relief. I had seen this breakup coming for weeks, maybe months. The calls had gotten shorter. The excuses had gotten longer. She still reached for me when she wanted comfort, favors, or attention, but the warmth only showed up when it benefited her. So no, I was not shocked. If anything, it felt like a door had quietly opened. That feeling told me something important. I was not losing a relationship. I was stepping out of a pattern. Looking back, the truth is our relationship had never been balanced. Chloe and I had been together for almost 2 years, and I had become the guy who always said yes. If she needed a ride across town late at night, I went. If she forgot a charger, I brought it. If she wanted sushi at 11 at night, I ordered it and delivered it like my whole job was keeping her comfortable. She used to call me her rock. At the time, I thought that meant dependable. Later, I realized it mostly meant useful. At first, I told myself that was love. I thought caring meant showing up no matter what. I thought being patient, available, and easygoing made me a good boyfriend. The problem was that kindness without boundaries can turn into unpaid labor very fast. Chloe could be sweet when she wanted to be. She would send long texts about how lucky she was to have me, how I understood her better than anyone else, how safe she felt with me. Then she would disappear for 2 or 3 days and act like that was normal. She knew how to pull me close, and she knew how to go cold. I kept waiting for the sweet version of her to stay. That was one of my biggest mistakes. There was one dinner that still sticks with me. We were sitting across from each other at a restaurant, and she spent most of the meal texting someone else. I just sat there eating in silence, pretending it did not bother me. That was the shape of our relationship in one scene. Her acting single when it suited her, and me acting unbothered because I did not want conflict. That was a red flag. Not the first one, but one I should have taken seriously. The real turning point came about a month before the breakup. Chloe started spending more time with a new group from work, mostly coworkers from her marketing job. She dressed up more, posted more selfies, and stopped inviting me to things. When I asked if something was wrong, she would roll her eyes and tell me not to be insecure. She said I was overthinking. That phrase does a lot of work in unhealthy relationships. It turns your instincts into a flaw and their behavior into something you are not allowed to question. That was when it finally clicked for me. I was no longer really her boyfriend. I was the safety net. The guy she called when the party was over, when she was bored, when she needed help, or when someone else disappointed her. So when she ended things on FaceTime, it did not feel like a surprise. It felt like confirmation. After the call, I sat on my couch with my phone in my hand and scrolled back through our messages. There were hundreds of old texts from her saying she missed me, needed me, appreciated me, followed by long stretches of silence where I carried everything and got almost nothing back. Reading it all at once changed something in me. I could finally see the pattern for what it was. That night I made a quiet decision. No more automatic yes, no more backup plan, no more confusing being needed with being loved. Still, I knew Chloe. She was not going to vanish just because the label had changed. She liked having access to me. She liked knowing I would still answer, still show up, still smooth out whatever discomfort she felt. People do not always miss the person. Sometimes they miss the service. Sure enough, less than 12 hours after ending the relationship, she texted me. It was around 1037 p.m. Her message said, "Hey, I'm starving. I've been craving that truffle pizza from Carboni so bad. Can you please bring me one? You know how I get when I'm hungry." I looked at the screen and laughed. There it was. The test. Not about food, not really. It was a question disguised as a request. Are you still mine to command? Old me would have grabbed my keys. Old me would have treated it like proof that I still mattered. But old me had cost me 2 years of peace. So I answered, "Okay, wait 30 minutes. I could almost picture her smiling at her phone, thinking nothing had changed. Then I opened Uber Eats and ordered exactly what she wanted. The truffle pizza, a drink, and tiramisu for dessert. In the delivery instructions, I added one line. "Please charge the recipient directly. She will pay. Do not leave food without payment." Then I hit confirm. Half an hour later, my phone lit up, first with the delivery update, order delivered. Then came the calls, one after another, then the messages. "Mark, what the hell? The driver said I have to pay. Are you serious right now? I thought you said you'd bring it." I did not answer. I sat on my couch, drank a beer, and watched the notifications pile up. I was not trying to humiliate her. I was just done pretending the old rules still applied. If you break up with someone, you do not get to keep the benefits of the relationship while removing the responsibility of one. A couple of hours later, I finally texted back, "Did you get your pizza?" That message got me an answer fast. "You're unbelievable." I did not reply. The next day, my friend Aaron came over and I told him what happened. He laughed so hard he almost spilled his coffee. He said it was the most polite revenge he had ever heard. I told him it was not revenge. She wanted pizza. She got pizza. She just had to pay for it herself like an adult. We both laughed, but deep down I knew this was not over. Chloe was not the type to let go of control quietly. That evening, another text came in. "Call me. We need to talk." I ignored it and muted her notifications. I already knew how the conversation would go. She would try anger first, then guilt, then sadness, then some version of "I thought you cared." When people lose access to someone they took for granted, they often call that cruelty. The next night, after the 5th call in a row, I picked up. The second I answered, she exploded. She said it was a $75 pizza order and the driver made her pay at the door while she was standing there in her robe, embarrassed. She said she thought we were friends. She said I told her I would be there for her. I let her finish. She was not calling for a conversation. She was calling for a performance. Then I said, "I was there, Chloe. You said you were hungry. I made sure the food got to your door." She snapped back that friends do not send invoices with food. I said, "Friends also don't treat people like personal assistants after dumping them." There was a pause. I could almost hear her trying to find a new angle. Then she softened her voice. That shift was familiar. Suddenly she was hurt, misunderstood, fragile. She said she thought we were still close. She reminded me that I had always said I would care about her. I told her I had not stopped caring. I had stopped doing things that made me feel small. Then she hit me with, "You've changed." I said, "Yeah, that was the point." That line landed. At this point, what would you have done? Stayed calm or argued every detail? Sometimes the strongest answer is the shortest one. She tried one more path. She said she had been having a rough night and just needed comfort. She said I used to understand that. I told her she was not wrong about that. She was wrong to assume I would never learn the difference between support and being used. Then she hung up. About 20 minutes later, more texts came in. She said I embarrassed her in front of the delivery driver. She said he knew her. She said she had to borrow cash from her roommate because her card was not nearby. Then she sent the message that said the quiet part out loud. Do you know how that made me look? That was the center of it. Not how she treated me. Not what she expected after ending the relationship. Just how it made her look. I replied once. "I'm not pretending we're still together when we're not. You wanted space. This is what space looks like." She left me on read. An hour later, she called again, this time crying. She said she did not understand. She said we always had each other's backs. I told her we did until one of us stopped being honest about what that meant. Then I said the clearest thing I had said all week. You can't end a relationship and still expect the same treatment you had inside it. That's not friendship, that's convenience. She was quiet for a few seconds, then hung up. That was the last time I heard her voice. And honestly, the whole thing was never about pizza. It was about control. She was not angry about the money. She was angry that I had made a decision without asking for permission, and she could not twist it into proof that I was still hers to manage. The breakup had not really happened on the FaceTime call. It happened when I stopped playing the role she had assigned me. After that, things went quiet for about a week. No late-night texts, no vague messages, no bait. Then one afternoon, Erin sent me a screenshot from Instagram. Chloe had posted a picture of a half-eaten pizza box with the caption, "Some people change for the worse." Erin texted, "This about you." I wrote back, "Who else?" A few months earlier, that kind of post would have ruined my whole day. I would have questioned myself. I would have wanted to explain. This time, I just blocked her account and went back to work. That was when I realized the peace was real. That night, I packed up the last few things she had left at my apartment. A hairbrush, a hoodie, a half-empty bottle of perfume. I put it all in a small box and left it at the front desk of her building with a short note that said, "Take care, Chloe." No sarcasm, no anger, just closure. Then I went home, sat on my balcony, opened a beer and breathed. For the first time in a long time, the noise in my head was gone. I was not waiting for a text. I was not trying to predict her mood. I was not wondering what I had done wrong or how to fix it. I was just there in my own life, without being on call for someone who only valued me when I was useful. Erin called later that night and asked how single life was treating me. I told him it was quiet, but it was the good kind of quiet. We talked for a while about how much energy I had wasted trying to save something that was never really mutual. Nothing had been broken that I could fix. It had simply been one-sided. And that is when I understood something else. When I told Chloe, "Sure, whatever you need," on that FaceTime call, I was not promising to stay her emotional crutch. I was giving her one last chance to notice what she was losing. She did not notice. Maybe she never would have. But by then, that part no longer mattered. The real change was that I finally respected my own limits. Before bed, I caught myself smiling. Not because I had won something, not because she had lost something, just because the pressure was finally gone. I even said to myself, half joking, that maybe the best way to be there for someone is to be there for yourself first. Then I turned off my phone, lay back, and for the first time in a long time, fell asleep without checking for her name on the screen. There are a few clear lessons in this story. Lesson 1: when a relationship ends, the benefits of that relationship end too. You do not owe partner-level care to someone who no longer wants the partnership. Lesson 2: kindness without boundaries can turn you into a convenience instead of a person. Lesson 3: if someone only reaches for you when they need something, pay attention to that pattern early. Lesson 4: guilt is not the same as responsibility. Someone being upset does not always mean you did something wrong. And Lesson 5: peace often starts the moment you stop saying yes out of habit. What would you have done after that breakup call? Would you have brought the pizza yourself, ignored the message, or handled it the same way Mark did? And have you ever had to teach someone that access to your care is not something they get to keep after treating you like a backup plan?